Did I succeed? Did I fail? What I want to work on here is building my skills. So I'm really hoping to be able to go to one this year. Ballet technique classes, variations, pointe. I think this is so important to me this year. And at the end of the day, our hobbies and our interests matter. It's just such a fun evening out. It's such a vibe. This is so luxurious. This will be an important part of my self-care routine. One of the major things that I've lost, I find really frustrating. And this is trickier to come by than you would think. This is a funny one. Let me explain. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going through my 2024 goals / my ballet wish list for this year. I realize it's halfway through February. It's quite late to do something like this. Normally it's the 1st of January for the turn of the new year, goal setting, resets, that's kind of the theme. But January this year, it was dark, it was gray, it was dreary. I really didn't feel motivated to do this kind of thing at all this year, which is quite unusual for me. The last few years, I've definitely been into goal setting and reevaluating the year and doing an annual audit and resetting for the new year, but not this year. So that's why it's halfway through February and I've now found the motivation to do this. All right, just before getting into this, I want to bring up why I'm discussing this and why I'm discussing it from the perspective of a non-professional dancer and audience member. I think it's always interesting to see where people are putting their focus and attention, but specifically in the ballet world, I think a lot of these goals align with younger students, pre-professionals, or professional dancers. So think of goals like, I want to get into this level of class at the school. I want this role at Nutcracker this year. I want to audition for this summer program and get in. I want to place at Youth America Grand Prix. I want to get into this company, etc., etc. And that doesn't really apply to me. But that doesn't mean that I don't have things that I want to work on or work towards in my interests and in my passion that is ballet. So I think it's really interesting to hear what someone might be working on or what they might be working towards in their interests and in their hobbies. And if you're working on anything in your interests or hobbies, I'd love to hear it in the comments down below. Okay, let's dive in. So the first one is to take class consistently 2 to 3 days a week. I've given myself a little bit of wiggle room because the reality is some weeks it just doesn't happen. But if I can hit at least that 2 class a week mark, I know I'll feel good about that. Ideally, I would have 1 class in person in a studio and 1 class at home. I've already registered for a class a week that continues until April, once a week in studio, so I feel like I have that ticked at least for the first quarter of the year. Then for the at-home one, specifically what I want to work on here is building my skills around creating exercises and creating classes. I really enjoy doing this. I love finding good music, creating a satisfying exercise. It's a lot of fun. It's a big part of the creative process in ballet, and it's something I want to work on. It's also a way to make the class at home more fun, more enjoyable, more tuned to things that I like or need to work on. So the idea would be that I would create a class for myself, probably once a month, and then in my 1 class a week at home, I would repeat that within that month. So let's say I create a class for March, I would probably do that 4 to 5 times, 4 to 5 weeks a month, and then repeat the process for April, for May, etc. It just sounds like a lot of fun, and I would love to be able to build out that skill further. And I'd love to hear in the comments if that's something that you would be interested in having a video about, like how I would create a class or create a class with me. I think that could be really interesting. The second goal, and to be fair, this is more of a wish list item, is to do an adult intensive. And over the years, there have been more and more of these available, which is really exciting. But up till now, they've either been too far and expensive, or the timing just hasn't worked out for me to be able to go. So I'm really hoping to be able to go to one this year. The ones I'm looking at are National Ballet of Canada in studio. They do like a long weekend format. So it's Thursday evening, Friday evening, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. I'm also looking at Art Emotion, which is in Salt Lake City, Utah. I kind of consider this the original one. I don't know if it actually was the very first one, but it was the first one that I heard of doing an adult ballet intensive. And I've heard really good things about it. People online have spoken about it and everyone seems really happy. So I think it could be a cool trip. And I've never been to Salt Lake City, so it could make for fun travel. I'm also looking at Run Xiao Du, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but his summer intensive. So he has a few locations globally in Canada, the US, Singapore. I think that's it. I would have to double check. but it's a week long, all day, every day. And it's ballet technique classes, variations, point, modern, contemporary. I think there's even floor bar and conditioning, so it's quite intensive. And then of course, I'm looking at Catherine Morgan's adult intensives. I've actually been looking at them for a few years. I've just never pulled the trigger to go. I think all of them have been across in California, so it's quite a trip for me to make. I know that this year she has 2 weeks. You can choose to do 1 or 2 weeks in Philadelphia, but unfortunately the timing doesn't work for me to go this year. So there is another 2 weeks, again, where you can do 1 or 2 weeks, where the location is to be determined. So I'm waiting for more information to come out there and see if that's an option. Okay, so number 3 is a little funny to explain, but it's spend more on ballet. And I don't mean spending money just for the sake of spending money. This is why it's not a certain dollar amount, because it's not like if I get to the end of the year and I'm $100 short, I'll just buy a leotard. It's fine. Now I've reached the number, great. That's not really the point. I used to have so much more of a money mindset where saving was good and spending was bad, and it's something I'm really working on getting over. So even when all of my bills and expenses were accounted for, my savings and my investing goals were done, my emergency fund is fully funded, and we're really talking about discretionary money, I kept finding myself getting to a point of, oh, if I just don't buy that ballet ticket, or if I don't spend money on that extra class, if I do less classes in the week, I save more money, and it's something that I can throw into my savings or investing. Just that little bit more. Isn't that better? I think this is so important to me this year because I feel like in the past, I've actually lost out on really fulfilling and great and enjoyable experiences, like taking that extra class or doing an intensive or going to that show. And at the end of the day, our hobbies and our interests matter. Again, we're talking about discretionary spending. We're not talking about an instance where your bases and savings and investing aren't covered. Essentially, my goal is to not let money be the constraint. As long as I'm within my ballet budget for the year, I'm gonna try to not overthink it. Number 4 is to go see a show every month this year. And this can be in person or digital. I do want to make a point of going to in-person shows as often as I can because it's just such a fun evening out. Going for dinner before, going to the theater, watching live dance, potentially hearing a live orchestra. It's such a treat. It's such a vibe. It's such an enjoyable evening out that I want to make sure I have as many of those as possible. Obviously, the constraint here is having companies that are local or how much you can travel or what shows they're putting on that you actually want to go see. So I think the mix of in-person and digital is really good. It'll also give me the ability to have a wider breadth of repertoire of what I'm able to watch. I'm hoping that this goal will help me get through what feels like a never-ending list of ballets that I want to watch or go see or dive into. Number 5 is essentially to create a ballet capsule wardrobe. I want to buy some more pieces that I feel awesome in. Right now, I would say I have 3 go-to outfits when I do a ballet class. 2 I feel great in. 1 is my go-to, I don't feel that great, maybe I'm a bit bloated, maybe I'm not feeling as positive about my body that day, and it's my go-to outfit for that. And I kind of feel like it's important for me to have that outfit because it feels like a safety net almost. It's my black zip leotard, it's like a razorback leotard, black tights, and a black bullet point skirt. So my other outfit is a kind of hunter green leotard, and I'll wear it with pink tights and this kind of olive hunter green mesh skirt that I love, love, love. I feel great when I wear that outfit. I almost always get compliments. It's fun. It's known as the green outfit. When I'm not feeling as great, I tend to wear that green leotard, but with black tights and the black bullet point skirt. My third go-to outfit is the Designed by Alice Some Fish leotard in aqua. And it's really cool because it has this fish scale pattern. Right now I'm wearing it with black tights and a black bullet point skirt. See, I need more pieces. But mostly because I don't have a great colored skirt to wear with it. I also don't have any shorts anymore. I have a pair of trash bag pants, but no trash bag shorts. I don't really have any warm-ups, and I've had a ton of Rubia wear things on my list for a long time. So I want to buy into my outfits a little bit more this year. Number 6 is monthly massages. This is so luxurious. I'm really fortunate where I have some support through work to cover some of this. So I just need to make use of it. Massages are one of those things that I think everyone enjoys and really appreciates that they did for themselves afterwards, but I just never schedule them. And so it's just a matter of me booking them in ahead of time and making sure that I go regularly. And with more dancing this year, this will be an important part of my self-care routine. I did tear my hamstring in May last year. So again, with me dancing more, this will be really helpful for my recovery as I go through the year. Number 7 is get my Arabesque back. I used to have a very consistent 90-degree, technically sound arabesque that came with ease. That's not to say that I wasn't corrected, that I couldn't have improved. That's always true in ballet. But there was just this feeling of ease in at least a standard baseline clean arabesque. And I think it's a 9-year break. I'd have to go back and calculate it exactly, but I took this really, really long break from ballet. And this is one of the major things that I've lost that frankly I find really frustrating because arabesques are everywhere in class. And now I feel like I'm overthinking it. How am I stepping? How are my hips? How's my back leg? What's my foot doing? Where are my shoulders? What's my rib cage deciding to do right now? The shape looks off, it feels off. I've lost a lot of strength in my back. So this is something I want to work on this year. I think what I'll be doing here is back mobility exercises, hip stability exercises, and then strengthening. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to measure this one because it isn't exactly a SMART goal, so I'm probably going to have to go by feel. But essentially I'm looking for that feeling of ease and that the shape looks better. Number 8 is to do cross training. So right now I'm registered for 1 class a week of reformer Pilates, and I'm really enjoying the slow, very intentional, resistance-based movement. And so far I'm feeling a little bit more stable in the center, so I'm really enjoying that so far. The second part of this is to introduce a long stretch session once a week. And this is trickier to come by than you would think as a non-professional dancer. In many studios, the classes are back to back, and so you kind of rush in and rush out, and you might not have room outside the studio to warm up properly, and you might not have room to stretch anywhere after the class. The other side of that is so many adult classes are the last class of the evening, and then the studio's closing. So you don't really have time to hang out and stretch and really go through your whole body. And then for me, by the time I get home, I'm cold, it's 10 p.m., I want to shower and go to bed. So this will probably be tagged on to my class at home. And it's going to be a matter for me right now to take the time to go head to toe, properly stretch, really hold it for the 20 to 30 seconds, really repeat it 2 to 3 times, and to take the time to do that. I'm in a very fortunate position right now where I actually have the time to be able to do that. So I'm gonna take advantage of that, but I realize that's not everyone's situation and situations change. So that's what I can do for now. And if that does change, then I will reassess. Number 9 is actually from the audience. I want to make sure that I'm consistently posting and that I'm fostering an environment and a community where people who are newly into ballet or the avid ballet lover can come nerd out. So if you have any ideas for videos that you would like to see or things you'd like me to cover or that you want to learn alongside me, let me know. I'd be really happy to see those in the comment down below. And finally, number 10 is to fall in love with Swan Lake. This is a funny one. Let me explain. I almost feel bad saying this as a self-proclaimed ballet nerd, but I'm not totally obsessed with Swan Lake. I know. I think, do I lose my badge of honor as a ballet nerd? I saw it once on stage about 10 years ago. When I used to dance more intensively, I did the 4 Swan variation, and I think I might have learnt the Odile Act 3 variation, but that's it. I never really did a deep dive into the story or the history of Swan Lake or the music of Swan Lake. I've never really learned extensively about the characters, and so I just didn't develop the same kind of love and intensity about Swan Lake. The funny thing is most people's first impressions of ballet are probably Nutcracker or Swan Lake, and then maybe Sleeping Beauty. But I would say people that don't know much about ballet, it's probably one of the two. And to be honest, when asked, I never really recommend Swan Lake as a first ballet to go see. It's a great ballet, it's a classic. I'm not saying in any way that it's bad. I kind of think of it like if you want to get into reading and you read Dostoevsky and War and Peace and Ulysses first. They're big, great classic novels that are full of history and are just across the board known to be great literature, but wow, is that a big pill to swallow on the first go. And I myself have never actually taken the time to take a deep dive into Swan Lake and to really watch it through and watch documentaries and learn about the characters and learn the variations, you know, take the time to really appreciate it. And so that's what this goal really is oriented towards. I'm actually thinking about making this a series throughout the year. So as I deep dive into different areas and learn more things about Swan Lake or try different variations, I would have different videos up about it. So if you have any thoughts or anything that you would like to see specifically, leave something for me in the comments down below. I would love to see your thoughts. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this year goes, and I'm thinking about doing a video at the end of all of this, going through each of these goals. You know, did I succeed? Did I fail? What was hard? What was easy? Etc. If you're inspired and excited to get into class and go see shows, you can click on this video here, where I go through my prep and research before going to see the ballet Onegin. Or you can click on this video here to find out exactly what the Prix de Lausanne ballet competition is. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!